Myself, Dr.P.Aruna Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Technology, Dr.SNSRCAS College of Arts and Science. Today we are going to see about analog and digital communication in data communication. We all know that analog and digital signals plays an important role for transmitting the information. Let me see about the session. So, analog transmission first. Analog transmission, the data is transferred with the help of analog signal in between transmitter and receiver. That is, if we want to send an information between sender and receiver, we need some signal for transmitting. It may be happen only in the wireless media. Wired media is through only wire. So the data can be sent either through the analog signal or it can be sent to digital signal. So any type of data is transferred in analog signal. The data should be converted into electronical form first, and after that it can be passed through the communication channel. It means first the data receiver sender can receive the information from the user. That is, if they have to transmit the information, so automatically the signal must be converted into the electrical form through the electronical devices. So analog communication uses a continuous signal which varies in amplitude, phases, or some other property with a time in proportion to that of a variable. That means a signal can be start from 0 and automatically it goes to high peak. Again it rises and down and rises. The frequencies can be continuously going on. So that means the analog communication can be passed a signal from sender to receiver in a moderate way. This is the example for analog transmission. Let us see the example. That means analog input and output messages. First, the analog output can be sent from the sender as an input. Then it can be converted into the modulator. That means that analog signal can be digitized by using the modulator. Modulator is used for converting the signal from analog to digital. Then again it can be passed through some channel. Already we have seen about channel. That channel will receive the information, that is analog information. Again it can be converted into demodulation. That is, demodulator can be convert the signal from digital to analog. Then it will send as an output to the receiver side. That is, analog messages can be received as an input. It can be modulated. Again it can be transmitted to the channel. Channel will send the same data, that is, it convert the same data into demodulation way. Again it gives to the output, that is in receiver side. Again, next, the digital transmission. The digital signal is used rather than the analog signal for communication in between source and destination, because the digital data means it will accept as in zeros and one. Signals means it's like a curve from top to bottom. But digital communication means it's like a box type. So it will show the information rise and down, that is low and high. The digital signal consists of discrete value rather than the continuous value. Discrete means it does not consist of a continuous value. It may be in 0 either, it may be in either 1 and 1, 0, etc. So, the digital communication physical transfer of data occurs in the form of digital bit. That is, it is a combination of binary value, either 0 or 1. So it is communication is over point to point, or it may be point to multi-point transmission, etc. The data can be divided into number of packets. Packets means smaller messages. If you are sending a bulk of messages, that messages can be converted into smaller thing, that is called as a packages. Next one, data transmission. This is an example for the data transmission, digital transmission. Information can be converted using encoder. Again it will convert it into modulator. Modulator will receive the information from the sender, convert it into the digital signal. Against channel it will convert it into demodulator. Demodulator will again convert it into the decoder. Decoder will send the information to the destination. This process can be simultaneously done by the digital transmission. Then let me see the difference between analog and the digital transmission. So analog transmission, analog signal can be passed here, digital signal can be passed. Analog communication used analog signal whose amplitude varies continuously within the time 0 to 1. But here we are accepting only zeros and 1. It gets affected by the noise, so it also get affected by the less noise during the transmission. In analog communication, only limited number of channels can be broadcasted, but here large number of channels can be used for transmitting the information. Next, the analog communications error probability is high because the signal, there may be loss of signal while transmitting the information, whereas in digital error is very low. So the communication noise immunity is poor. Here communication noise immunity is very good to receive the information from the user. Analog coding is not possible, but here we need some coding for transmitting the information like zeros and one. Binary calculation can be done to identify the errors. The next, analog communication system having complex hardware and less flexible to use, but is very flexible to use. Here FDM frequency is used, that is frequency division multiplexing is used. Here time division multiplexing is used. Analog communication system is very low cost, but when compared to the analog it is very cost. It requires low bandwidth, it requires high bandwidth. So power consumption is high for analog transmission, digital is very low. So it is less portable. Portability is very high here. So no privacy if there is maybe a loss of data. But here privacy is very high. It is very secure one. Not assurance and accurate data. We cannot expect that is exact data while transmitting. But we can expect more accuracy. Synchronization problem is very hard, but here is very easier. So from this we can see about analog and digital transmission differences and how they are using. Thank you.